Downs Gaming and Hotel, we work extremely hard to make your experience here convenient, safe, and fun.
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We love it!
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We don't just like Batavia Downs Gaming, we love Batavia Downs Gaming.
Batavia Downs Gaming, Hotel, and Racetrack. We not only want you to like coming here, we want you to love coming here.
Folks, welcome back to the show where it is not wrestling with your budget. It is not wrestling with your conscience. And this show never turns heel. This is wrestling with emotion. Let's get him on here. We got Slick Saturday. We got Jake Micah. We got the Prophet Rob Ryan. And we got the head of the table, Michael J. Partham. With that said, the wrestling world turned on its head. Mainstream coverage. I can ask you what your favorite thing is going on, but it does not. It pales in comparison if it is.
It doesn't matter.
John Cena is heel. Something that has basically been decades in the making, essentially. We finally got it out of nowhere, even when it seems now, looking back at it, that it was more obvious than anything. What are your guys' reactions? I know stuff has happened. It's been almost 4 days since it happened. But what were your reactions? What was your vibes doing it? What was ultimately what was going on in your guys' neck of the woods?
I guess I'll get it going, but I was shocked, but I wasn't. And really well done, very well executed. Obviously, coming off a huge Banditos win, we caught wind of the news that spread like wildfire that John Cena just turned heel in the world of wrestling. And watched it back in real time with the noise since we were watching Banditos at the time. And my goodness, was it done well. From start to finish of that segment, just everything about it, the timing, the callbacks, the finger motion Rock used, was all very well done. And I'm pretty bummed that we didn't get Cena in Buffalo, but excited to see him on TV again. He's got some explaining to do. But I will tell you, there was a little kid sitting next to Maniac and I at Raw, dressed as Cody Rhodes, and he was pretty upset that I was dressed as Cena. So I had to explain to him, dude, Cody probably did something to deserve it. You got to think about that. So,
wow.
Yeah, I turned heel on the kid a little bit. I can't lie.
Well, I have a bit to go on as far as the history of this and how far back it goes. You got to go all the way back to 2012 in the middle of John Cena and The Rock's original feud. This was in the middle of Rock had previously hosted WrestleMania 27. They had set up their match for WrestleMania 28. And John Cena was basically planning this. He had his theme set up. He had all this new merch set up. He wanted to go heel. And let's just say his name, Vince, put the kibosh on it. Mainly because there was no face of the company to take over for him as the babyface face of the company, a top merch seller, a top draw, someone that was going to replace all that, t-shirt revenue, and so to speak. And that's basically been the main reason why we have not gotten this. Everybody's been clamoring for the John Cena heel turn. Give it to us. Give us what we want.
Give it to me. Give me what I want.
And that's the main reason that they've held off on this. Yes, I know, one. So now you fast forward, and they've been in the midst of that. They were trying to make Roman Reigns the new face of the company. They were trying to make him the new John Cena, despite his protests during that one great back and forth promo between him and John Cena. He didn't want to be the next John Cena, but let's face it, they were trying to make him the next John Cena, but it didn't work. It didn't hit with the crowd. So they did a 180 on him. He became the tribal chief, and that worked for him. But even though he was, a draw cinematic wise, storyline wise, he wasn't, out there, making wishes, kissing babies, and selling merch, at least not at the rate John Cena did. So now Cody Rhodes comes along, and he is basically John Cena 2.0 for a new generation. And he's basically the main reason that they can afford to pull the trigger on Cena like this. Speaking of Cody Rhodes, one of the hints that should have told us that something was coming. Back on October, he was on the Pat McAfee show, and one of the things he said toward the end was, WrestleMania season, there will be something that is perhaps bigger than anyone anticipated. They have been planning this. I wouldn't be surprised, even at the at John Cena's first announcement of his retirement tour, and this might have been even the impetus for a year-long retirement tour, because you can't turn John Cena heel part-time and have him come back 6 months later and give the first promo and then have a heel match or something. It's too big of something to just do part-time. He has to have a full year of it, even though he's been essentially part-time for this calendar year so far. He's trying to finish up his movie. But there's been other hints. We can point back to the post-Rumble comments where he basically pushes himself into the Elimination Chamber, says it's best for business, etc. But who could have seen this big of a thing coming? I mean, we were anticipating who, if not Cody, then who? Could it be Drew McIntyre? Could it be CM Punk? Could it be Seth Rollins? But John Cena? I mean, they obviously kept that last segment, that segment being last, secret, because it would have been the biggest indication that something huge was going to go on if Elimination Chamber, the men's Elimination Chamber, wasn't last.
Yeah. What? Go ahead, Rob.
All right. Yeah, I was shocked, but I think it was well played. I always had a feeling possibly Cena would be it, but not immediately at Elimination Chamber. It's kind of like when the Prophet turned heel last year. I mean, no one saw it ever coming. It just happened. That's how it feels. But you know what's interesting to see is what I've seen around lately is that rumored is the end of the year really Cena's retirement now that he's like heel, because he has to turn face before he retires. So I have a feeling it may be WrestleMania 42 is his final match and not the end of the year.
It's March.
Would that be the ultimate heel move if he goes back on his word to say 2025 calendar year is his last year, and then he extends it beyond that?
Yeah.
That's
one other aspect of this to remember is people were clamoring for John Cena's heel turn so much that if he just did it on his own, people would be cheering for it, and that would be the wrong way to go about it. You don't want your heels to be cheered. The fact that he's basically The Rock's Winter Soldier lackey, that he can just turn on like that, and really makes him, basically he's The Rock's stooge, more or less,
really
in some
point.
way.
Okay, so that's a good.
Yeah,
and really,
I was going to ask that question. Do you think that Cena was always planned? If it was a planned Cena heel turn, if that was his idea of a farewell tour, was to do his heel turn, was he always going to be paired with The Rock, or did this turn into like Dwayne came up with an idea too, and they had to like marry the two worlds of this idea? I wonder how this all came together.
I think they were definitely planning it without him, just because you can never count on The Rock being around. But then when Rock agreed to being around, they probably went to turn to this plan.
Well, you have to think about what would be the motivation for Cena to turn heel, because his gripe with The Rock back in the day is you're part-time, you're Hollywood, you're off doing this other stuff, you come back whenever you want, and I'm here, I'm still, with the people, still wrestling. And now he's been Hollywood. He's gotten his acting roles, and he's been part-time. Yeah. So now maybe he understands The Rock a little bit better, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, he didn't even have to sell his soul. John's soul already belongs in the same place that The Rock's does, and that's Hollywood, California.
And you made a good point, Partham, that the reason it works is because they have Cody Rhodes on the other end to make as this guy, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, I guess with there's a world where Roman Reigns is in the Cody Rhodes role at one point. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us, if we would have thought of that potentially happening, it would have been that. But I agree, like having him align with The Rock, and because of where Cody is in the wrestling world, and also just the social media, like it was already the most, how much they love this social media stuff. It was the most viewed social clip in like 12 hours ever. Not most in 12 hours, most viewed ever in 12 hours. Like this thing went all over the place. John Cena, the meme of him, and like the evil Darth Vader looking face, whatever you want to call it, the turn there in that moment is going to live forever. Like how much WWE loves creating their moments. What a moment. Oh my. And they were selling the what a moment factor.
So I was wondering when Cena was tweeting this earlier in the day, why he picked the three of them to be a part of that graphic. Like, so the WWE.
Oh, yeah, it was
there was hints all over. Yeah, there was hints all over.
So, and my thinking too, now that you brought up that great point, Partham, about like adding The Rock, it brings a lot of questions out of play, because I'm convinced if they were planning this without him, they could have just had Cena do the exact thing without the face towards The Rock and unexpectedly kick Cody in the nuts.
Yes.
But then he would have some explaining to do like the very next night. The fact that The Rock's in the ring when he does that and they make that direct eye contact and sell it afterwards, that says it all. So you eliminate that explanation from Cena even needing to take place right away just by having The Rock in there. And then if that's not already crazy enough, Triple H is backstage. He's like, yo, Travis, you want to get in that ring? Like, fuck it. And now we have one of the greatest moments in WWE history.
Can we talk about that Final Boss remix?
Yeah, I like the Final Boss remix. This was the best one by far. The other ones didn't really make sense. It was sick. But let's talk about Travis Scott's role in this, because there are a lot of hardcore WWE fans being like, you know, like always like the third head, like on the Cerberus, like being an idiot, like stuff like that. I think he looks sick. And I think the fact that he busted Cody's eardrum in kayfabe is great. I think it's great. You got, you know, people saying it sucks, people saying it shouldn't be happening. I mean, I thought this was all great. It was all brutal. It was all like left my jaw on the floor.
I think someone might have said in our chat that it was like Becky Lynch getting her nose busted. It only enhanced her character that much more.
Mm-hmm. That was
I
a
think
great point.
The sage candle that Trav had was just awesome.
I mean, if Travis is bringing in the sage, you just got to watch out now. It's literally like, you know, it's like
someone's about to get.
I think it adds to the aura of that.
You know, he went
like,
from smoking. He went from smoking weed on Raw Netflix to having Sage in the ring at Elimination Chamber.
Am I am I the only one? Like, I thought Travis Scott's initial vibe was like, oh shit, when John, you know, like he didn't do like get that guy or whatever. Like he was kind of like caught off guard, but then he embraced it. He got into it. So I like that overall. I like that overall vibe.
If you look on WWE's Twitter feed, they released a couple of different angles of the moment of the heel turn, and you can see him, you know, kind of like jumping on the ropes like he's the Ultimate Warrior. Like, oh damn, I just saw that happen.
Yeah. That was
and I love how when he was going to like they were pinning down each side of him so that Rocky could slap him with the belt. There was an awkward second or two where Travis didn't really know if he could hit him right then or not, and he was like looking at Cena and Rock like, "Can I do it? Can I do it?" And then when he did, he was just like, "Bam!"
That's what I mean. Someone gave him the okay, and I'm sure Cody like dapped him up after. It was like, "Good work, brother." Like,
well, Rock did even say, he was like, "I was telling Travis backstage, like, if you get the opportunity, you better smack him hard." And
yeah, Travis Scott's reaction, like he just had like a 5-star match, was so fucking awesome. Funny, dude. So genuine, he literally all he did was just beat down a corpse, and he's thinking that like wrestling is the greatest thing that ever happened.
Ring at all the cribs.
Very
well.
Fair,
think
very
of all
fair.
the eyes that the eyes that Travis Scott's presence is putting on this. If he's going to get physical, you need to have him make it look good. It can't be pulled punches.
Oh, you don't got to explain it to me. When you compare the appearance of a Travis Scott, like I'll just put it in recent history versus like a Snooki at WrestleMania like 10 to 15 years ago. Are you fucking kidding me? Like these are like complete, like they are between Bad Bunny, Logan Paul now being like a full-time member of the, like they are crushing when people come from outside of WWE to be like,
you got Drake and Lil Yachty sitting front row in Toronto.
Oh, they didn't even acknowledge Drake. They know he's toast.
Well, Maniac and I trust he probably didn't want to be acknowledged.
Yeah, I think Drake. We think Drake was being a little sensitive.
So what's he doing sitting front row if he doesn't want to be put on camera or acknowledged?
Well, you think it's good for his look if he's in the bleachers?
You go up into a suite. You can afford a suite. It's nice and luxurious, and you can stay out of the camera's way.
He could have stayed in the hotel.
He wasn't in the camera's way though. He was second row or whatever. All right. And speaking of being on camera, go on.
One thing I want to ask you guys, going forward with this angle, you know, Rock did the 3 at Bad Blood, which people are now connecting to John Cena's, hand signal, and then he did the 2 with the throat slash, and people are starting to make the countdown. Like, is there going to be one more? Is there a third man here in play in the future, or is it just Rock?
Here's what I think.
What about the guy who holds up?
Can I just? I got to get the first. I got to get the first opinion here.
Yeah,
this is just Dwayne being fucking Dwayne, dude. Every time we look into like a specific or what did he put into Cody's hand, they're just scrambling in Gorilla to figure out how they could do this or what angle they could put it at. Remember when he originally came out with the Tribal Chief and he did the guns up? And people were like, that means like he's not really like acknowledging the one. All I'm saying is that it's very much more likely that he just literally was like, I look good doing it this way. Like, you know, like versus it actually meaning something. But with that said, Drew McIntyre.
Okay, I was gonna say if they're counting down, if it's a count thing, the perfect thing is that it counts down to 1 and it's him and Roman because because
I was going to ask, well, how does Roman factor
for
into this?
WrestleMania? We don't Roman being involved with Seth and Punk, like that match it would be fun. TV would be fun, but a triple threat with no real stakes behind it, like
I think there will be
title.
stakes.
So what are the stakes are they going to do, Mike? I'm curious.
A third man in the title
they have to
match,
do it.
just like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30.
Which for the WWE title?
Yeah.
Okay, the same night.
That'd be
my idea was the winner gets. Here was my idea for this match: is that it's not for a night of WrestleMania because they still want to have a big show for Night After Mania on Netflix. I thought maybe winner gets World Heavyweight Champion on Netflix Raw, and then you have a potential chance that you get Roman J or you get CM Punk J. I guess Rollins J, but I think Roman J would be.
Well, remember this: Roman has a receipt coming back to Rollins for the head stomp on the steel steps that supposedly is what kept him out.
Rollins cashed him out. Reigns is done. See you, Reigns.
He's not.
The other thing about that. The other thing about that is Roman is going to argue that kept him away from the Elimination Chamber and a chance of getting back at Cody.
Is Punk's favor that somehow Heyman finesses it into that title match situation then?
Yes, I think that's fair.
So it potentially benefits all of them, the favor.
Sure.
Yeah,
which is why they'll agree to it.
I don't know about that.
So he's going to help. He's like, I get to help my buddy Punk. I get to help Roman. I still
not buying it.
Punk's all about making friends.
No, he's not.
Punk if that was the night 2 storyline, like night 2 opened up with Roman, Seth, and Punk. Winner gets inserted into the main event with Cena and Cody. That would
happen
night 1.
And after how
that would have to be a main event night 1. Yeah.
And after how successful last year's storyline was mid WrestleMania, they're doing it again.
I don't think it would. I don't think that scenario would main event night 1 because it would mean Punk already has a main event with that match alone. I think the stakes have to be not just a championship match, but a main event spot at WrestleMania. That's why I think it has to either open night 1 or night 2.
It might be Bianca Rhea.
Punk's not main eventing shit at this point.
They keep bringing it up. Why do they keep bringing it up then?
You guys are forgetting. We only have 2 main events.
So if someone was winning, it would be Roman.
Outside of Cody and Cena, what's the other main event right now?
I think the women's match. I think Bianca
or it could be Jay and Gunther.
You can do that said, but like that's 2 others in front of Punk. Just saying.
Wrestling's back. It was on ESPN First Take. It was on The Daily Show. Wrestling is back. And let's face it, CM Punk, I just don't know if he's a main event guy. What happened the last time CM Punk was in the main event, Rob? Because I let Phil right in his fucking face know that Barmageddon does a better number than him. His head was right there, Rob. I give him a little smooch on the top of that.
I just want to let you guys know something.
Armageddon.
I just want to let you guys know something.
I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm fucking tired and I work with fucking children.
That's very fair.
That's all I have to
say. Amen.
Ron Buffalo, outstanding experience. By the way, real quick shout out sponsor. First shout out to our sponsor, Herbal IQ, for setting a second eye up with the seats, as well as Parthy putting them in the hard cam side. With that said, also shout out to Batavia Downs, the region's premier entertainment destination. Obviously, sponsor here on Wrestling with Emotion. We have all kinds of awesome events coming up at Batavia Downs the month of March. Make sure you check out their socials at Batavia Downs for the awesome events and your chance to win more, lots more. Raw and Buffalo, we were winning more, lots more. Amazing. They come into our area right at the beginning. It was great. But I will fast forward to the end here and kind of do that. Rhea losing the title or Rollins Punk next week? Which did you guys see as the bigger surprise coming out of this week's Raw? Parthy, why don't you start us off?
Oh, Rhea losing the title. I knew that they were going to try to finesse their way to a Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley triple threat at WrestleMania, because that's where I see this going. I figured that there would be some kind of a ambiguous finish to Io and Rhea's title match, like a double pin, or maybe the match gets thrown out DQ or something, double DQ. But I didn't see them putting Io over, and the way that they did it was kind of iffy, I guess, because I haven't seen anything previously where why would Rhea get so distracted by Bianca Belair just cheering on Io? It wasn't like Bianca was trying to interject herself or saying anything incendiary. Rhea just got distracted for no particular reason other than Bianca wanted Io to win, and she did say something to that effect. I got distracted. I got this is on me for not keeping my eye on the ball. It was a post show interview that they put on social media that she said this. But I guess, it certainly keeps it more interesting. I just didn't expect them to take the title off of Rhea this soon going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I'm going the other way. I'm going Rollins Punk next week. I had a feeling it was the easiest way of getting the triple threat if Io won, just because obviously you would just get Rhea pissed off and easily get into the match. So that's how they set up the triple threat. But the Rollins Punk, obviously we all know that they are part of a match at WrestleMania, so to have a match this soon kind of was surprising, but I have a feeling this is how they introduce Roman into this storyline as well. He'll return next week in some capacity. So I guess we have two triple threats setting up back-to-back weeks. So
big whoa.
Oh, bye-bye, Mania.
Oh God,
Undertaker
guys,
triple threat.
I'm in charge now. We're all in trouble.
Oh boy. I'm very interested.
Man. Damn it.
All right, boys. No running the asylum.
I just said everyone's in trouble because I'm in charge now.
But no, obviously, who's up next with the take?
Micah.
Yeah, the steel cage match is gonna just be like, that's an awesome match. Like Rollins Punk on the Netflix debut was a great time to see them in the steel cage. Is gonna be awesome. MSG is gonna be, MSG is gonna be, they're packing out and they're gonna make a big show for next week. So I was surprised to see that. Yeah, I was the same with Mike. I figured that it would be more of like a double count out, or Bianca just gets herself involved, because Bianca showing a little bit of the evil tendencies Monday night, and I think looking forward, but in the way that they did it, they got a shock value out of it. Io is obviously deserving. She's now won both world titles in the last year, and that's a huge
Grand Slam
way to
winner.
put her over. And it's a great way to kind of, because realistically going into it, you can make a case that any three of these women come out of that match, if they do that match, which it seems like that's what they're doing, with the title. So I think it's a really compelling match in that way, where the unpredictability factor is high, which seems like Triple H, who we know, at least we theorize, is chronically online as much as any wrestling fan, saw some of the stuff about him being or a little bit predictable in this run, and has decided to turn up the Mania build in the other way. But this women's match, it was shocking. It was shocking to see Rhea lose. Just, not completely clean, but it's not like Bianca was involved in the finish itself or anything like that. It was a clean move. It's just a pin right in the middle of the ring. So good for Io. It was a fun match, but that was a shocker to me.
I'm gonna say as well the cage match, Rollins and Punk next week, just because I think we all kind of speculated there could be a possibility of this with the announcement being even prior to the Chamber, I believe it was. And I just gotta speak to one thing real quick. The star power of Rhea Bloody Ripley is out of this world. Maniac acknowledged it before, but when she came out at KeyBank Center, every phone in that arena was in the air and people were on their feet for Mommy, because Mommy's always on top. And she might have, given me a little look of an eye front row that made me blush up a little bit. It turned off my heel character just for a second. But I was a little more shocked at Punk and Rollins because obviously we knew it was going to lead to WrestleMania. The fact that they're just throwing this on a Raw is awesome. Give or take, it is MSG. And I think this is the first time MSG's been televised for a show in quite some time. So to have this as a main event for a show like that, Maybe other Monday Night Raw. Then I believe
Yeah,
it's the
I
first
think
time
maybe it's
Monday Night Raw
SmackDown.
has been at MSG in a very long time, and that is yes.
Good for you.
You were about to faint.
Just for I
Good.
was starstruck, and then just another Aussie from Adelaide giving me a little raise to the eyebrow.
Oh,
It made
I
my-
see.
That was
The
it.
Aussie
That was
connection,
it.
okay.
She sensed the
made my
Aussie
name.
in you.
It made my night. It made my night.
It
That's
wasn't even
beautiful.
aimed at me, but I still
What a moment.
squealed.
Yeah, you can hear Maniac in that video.
Just
But
the aura.
also,
Imagine if you had like some kind of Australian flag with you or something like that. Like, yeah, I'm an Aussie like you.
I should have. But I just want to double down real quick too on what I forget who said it, but I think it was Rob. This is definitely like where you bring Roman back. He doesn't need all this time off leading up to Mania. He had that time off a long time ago when he lost that belt. You should get him on TV for this Mania build, especially if people are already questioning like the availability of John and The Rock going on this Europe tour and people not getting as interested. I think Roman costs Seth this match. And if I had to guess, it's like a classic Shield way, like where he goes up to the door as Seth is trying to crawl out and like slams it shut on his head or something. And that leads to Punk hitting a GTS and then ultimately pinning Seth.
And it makes so much sense because going back to the point of SmackDowns that were on MSG, there was always a big bloodline moment going on at MSG. We had Tribal Cord in MSG, and we had Solo attacking Paul Heyman on MSG.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Roman's coming back in MSG on Monday.
Speaking
And
of
for the
SmackDowns,
love of
I want
God,
to put this little nugget.
Bring his original music back, please.
Speaking of SmackDowns, I want to put this little updated nugget here. CM Punk has previously been added to SmackDown's March 21st in Bologna and March 28th in London. Now Fightful is reporting that while he is still on the March 17th Raw in Brussels, he is no longer advertised for the Raws from London on March 24th and March 31st. So CM Punk is essentially being shifted over to SmackDown, and I wonder why that's happening. Who's on SmackDown as the champion?
Oh, you're thinking
Cody Rhodes. He's getting involved in the WWE title picture.
No, he's not.
What about Roman?
You mean
Roman's on SmackDown?
You mean like after WrestleMania?
You mean like Backlash?
No, before WrestleMania. This is the Raw leading up to
Why wouldn't it be
March.
Roman? Why wouldn't it be Roman who he's going for to SmackDown?
Yeah, Roman's going to go for it too.
Didn't Roman technically move to Raw?
No, he's on SmackDown. He shows up on Raw because the
That's
rules
why
of
Punk's
brand
Punk's gonna be on
separation
SmackDown
are
for Roman.
You guys have kind of lost your brains with just that, like anyone can find their way into the championship match now at WrestleMania. It's Cena and it's
Cena and
Uso.
Cody Rhodes.
They're very clear, like how they got their like title shots. Like,
No, I agree.
throwing,
I
like,
think
a
Punk
fourth
would
person
be
in.
there for Roman.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the bottom line is WWE very exciting right now. Road to WrestleMania was like, a little stagnant. Well, it got turned on its head, obviously, at Elimination Chamber. And it's a tough time to be an AEW fan, plain and simple. Not because of the recent stretch, but more so because of that amazing weekend put on by WWE. But we have the last Dynamite as we head into Revolution. Aparthy, I'll let you tee it up here. Anything you got your eyes on tonight as we head into potentially the biggest, most pressure AEW pay-per-view in a year or two here?
Yeah, because they got to deliver, especially in the wake of Cena's heel turn of the road to WrestleMania. Little word on the street is after last week's fiasco of, guys obviously blading and, production shots of people in the shot not coming to help out Christopher Daniels when he's obviously a bloody mess on the floor, and other certain faux pas and botches from a production standpoint. Word on the street is they're actually having production meetings tonight before the show, which is actually a first because they usually don't do that. But regardless, the main things happening are Swerve and Ricochet are going to have a contract signing. Obviously, that's going to result in tables being turned over or somebody getting put through a table. Thunder Rosa is teaming up with Statlander to take on Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. And I wonder if there's any receipts coming Megan Bayne's way for the way that she basically stiffed Thunder Rosa not running out of the ring when Rosa was coming down with the chair, and Megan Bayne's supposed to be the cowardly heel and take off running. And of course, the other big thing is the main event, Adam Copeland versus Wheeler Yuta. Cope is taking out the Death Riders one by one, and Yuta's the only one left before he gets to Moxley at Revolution. So obviously, Cope whether it's during the course of the match or it's probably going to be after the match, Cope is probably going to think of some dastardly thing. He'll probably take out his steel spiked bat or do another concerto, something to just, completely take out Wheeler Yuta for this Saturday going forward.
All right. Anything anyone else is looking at? What do you got, Prophet?
The Prophet don't lie. Prophet don't got time for AEW right now.
Okay,
Survivor back on for the Prophet.
Okay, it's Survivor season. I respect that from the Prophet. He's a loyal Survivor fan. This Dynamite, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, the Swerve Ricochet story has been awesome. I think Ricochet and Nana, that dynamic has been great to explore. Nana being like the emotional core behind this story with the robe and everything, but also the match was pretty good the first time around. #1 contendership on Sunday on the line in LA for these two. You would have to imagine that means Swerve's getting his win back, which is an exciting thing heading into Dynasty, where if it could be Swerve versus whoever comes out of that main event with the world title. I couldn't care less about Adam Copeland versus Wheeler Yuta and Adam Copeland concertoing Wheeler Yuta and this whole storyline. I'm just waiting. I think I have an idea of what they're going to do Sunday for that main event. So just waiting for that to hopefully get us through. Let's get through this storyline. But Dynamite, I think, has been pretty good recently. I'm excited for Hangman and MJF, whatever they do tonight, because that storyline has been incredible, and I'm sure there's going to be something else crazy going into their match Sunday. But
honestly, Wheeler Yuta should have been the first guy taken out and not the last. Like, they should have saved Claudio for last. But anyway, Slick, go ahead.
That's a good point.
That's not a main event Dynamite.
I'm loving these things just as you guys are. This Dynamite tonight, obviously, it's like we've gotten like a theme of a go home Dynamite too, right? Where like they're kind of like tagging up pairs of guys from different matches at the
some fun matches
on Sunday. So you're gonna get a lot of like cool previews and setups to spots that you're gonna get in these matches. But yeah, love everything that MJF and Hangman are doing. Can't wait to see if they do anything tonight where that goes, because that match will be really awesome. Two of AEW's OGs. I think the Hurt Syndicate are killing it right now. Mariah and Tony are about to have their Hollywood finish at Revolution.
Hollywood ending, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm going to be seated for that movie premiere, let me tell you. And obviously Ricochet, Swerve, everything going on with those two. And then Ospreay, Takeshita, Omega, that whole side of the card. You got Takeshita going to take on Omega at Revolution for the international title. That adds some huge validity to that title. So I think they're putting things in the right direction, and a lot could be added to the value of AEW Dynamite if Cope is your champion. And I think that kind of lays me up to where I lean towards on Sunday. But
would you guys pull the trigger on Cope winning the title from Moxley? Even with Darby being the original choice before he started to go off to Mount Everest, and maybe that's been up in the air because of that, or because Hangman's been catching fire lately, maybe they should put the title on him. Who would you put the title on?
Next month on Swerve is who I would give it to.
Yeah, Cope doesn't need it for too long, but like given how everyone's reacting to Moxley and the Death Riders, why the hell wouldn't you pull the trigger right now?
I think that match,
Cope is the guy that deserves something like that.
How I think that main event match goes for Revolution is that's when Christian gets involved, and that's with his title shot, because they have to eliminate that story potential somehow. And so Cope and Christian is the move. I think that is.
Yeah, that contract that he's been carrying around has been dragging on. Like, he's had a few teases with it. Hasn't had many lately, but because it's Christian and Adam Copeland, obviously they have to get involved with one another.
That's when
he attempts to sign that contract and cash in his virtual money in the bank.
I think they cost each other their title shot in that moment, and that's where the impetus for their rivalry, whatever they want to do going forward, because they were gonna get back into it, I feel like, and then
I think
Cope gets hurt, and it's gone for whatever. So this is a way to reestablish Cope and now go into it. What's up, Maniac?
It's funny. You took a little bit of the wind out of my sail there, I'll be honest. But with that said, I think we could be going to 2008, I believe Jeff Hardy, CM Punk here, where we get a huge face win, crowd going nuts, like the Death Riders are finally vanquished. And then Christian Cage comes in and Cope has like a 4-minute title reign. I think we could absolutely be looking. Then they go into their own program. I'm surprised that nobody kind of pulled the trigger on that, because I feel like that in a world where WWE or AEW is definitely going to need some kind of swerve, some kind of cinema. I don't know if Death Riders being, beaten alone does it at this point.
It's a
and
fitting...
you guys even said it yourself. Like, how much longer can Cope have this, Christian have this AEW title shot before it kind of grows stale? I think it would be the perfect time to kind of have that win happen. It would be the exact same vibe as when Jeff Hardy beat the Evil Edge.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
literally
that's why it's a
17
fitting
years
callback.
ago.
Yeah.
17 years ago. And then you kind of have this guy who's, I guess Christian is a heel, but in his mind, he's a face. You know what I mean? It's just like CM Punk was a face when he was coming out in 2008. So I could totally see that happening, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tony pulls the trigger on that. With that said, I am just happy that the AEW card seems to be returning to full form. We have Adam Cole on weekly. We have Kenny Omega on weekly, and I don't think it's surprising that with that happening, the show just seems to be genuinely a little bit better.
One other thing about tonight
helps a lot.
One other thing about tonight is this is going to be the first time that Dynamite is going head-to-head with WWE's new Evolve show on Tubi, whatever that might mean.
A former UB volleyball player signed to WWE Evolve, so stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Now, I know I'm a mark, but wait, is Evolve the same as Fast?
Speed.
Or Speed?
No, it's not the same as Speed.
No. I know Speed. I know Speed is the quick matches. I thought Fast was Future and Super.
No, that's LFG.
That's LFG.
Legends and Future Greats. Okay.
Think of it like
so
this.
It seems to be very similar to that. I will say.
So Evolve isn't the one where the guy's trash talking Bubba Ray and the one girl is asking to use Hell's Gate.
No, that's LFG. Evolve is basically a double A, where if NXT is triple A, Evolve is double A, and LFG might be single A.
Okay, cool.
I
like
it. They have a
they do
whole structure now, like they're telling us to follow.
Yeah.
So Evolve is literally the double A to NXT.
Yeah.
And LFG is when you're playing in the World Junior Championships almost.
LFG is like
good.
Dollar Beer Night and Dollar Dog Night.
That's Sonny in Fredonia.
Can somebody have a bad match on Evolve and just be cut on the spot?
That'd be awesome.
Well, I imagine they might.
Why not? Michaels walks out and it's like,
yes, dude. There should be scissors. He walks out with scissors.
You're not evolving into anything.
They're going to shoot it in the NXT arena, but not in front of a live crowd. So they could conceivably retape any really bad matches or bad spots that happen.
That's true. Yeah, they're taping ahead of time.
Well, that's
they've actually taped a lot of episodes ahead of time, I think.
Folks, we know that when you tape things can get jumbled. That is why Wrestling with Emotion goes live. I want to shout out our panel. Any final thoughts here as we get ready for Revolution and what should be an amazing 6-week run to WrestleMania?
Only thing I have left to say is John Cena, I stand with you. You probably did it.
Shut up while I'm conducting business.
Didn't use mine. Let's go.
Damn it.
Nice.
All right. With that said, huge shout out to Parthy, the Prophet Rob Ryan, my friend, your friend, our friend, Jake Micah, Slick Saturday, and myself. This is Wrestling with Emotion. Make sure you're following the account. Not to fucking brag. 2 million views on Instagram. We are cooking over there. Wrestle W Emotion. This is not the show where it's wrestling with your conscience. This is not the show with wrestling with your budget. It is Wrestling with Emotion.
You bald frauds.